Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called Guild Ball. Electric word, Guild Ball, it means forever. And that's a mighty long time, but I gotta tell you, there's something else. Cancel. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a Monday. That's right. Just a Monday. Just a Monday. That's what I'm talking about. We're What's up, Nelson? We're gonna talk some Guild Ball today, and I'm gonna hop in my Discord on air. So I'm gonna hop in my on air and just let you know that I'm gonna let these guys know here that we are in the on air. To hop in and chat. All right. What's up, everybody? Okay, so we're gonna be painting Birds of Prey again. We're gonna be painting Birds of Prey again, but that's really not why we're here tonight. We're just turning on this stream. I wasn't planning on streaming at all tonight, but we gotta talk Guild Ball, man. It just makes me sad. It does. What's up, Chris? Rip Guild Ball, hardly knew them, but had interest in playing it. Yeah, right now there's just a lot of chatter going on within our community. We're deciding what we're gonna do, honestly, because there are a lot of us that were heavily invested in this game, and I've never quite faced this exact scenario. I faced scenarios before where we've had a meta, we've had a community around a game, and to have the bottom drop out on us. The first one that comes to mind is Helldorado, which was a fantastic game, still an excellent game. Still people in France playing Helldorado. Still a lot of people, not a lot, but there are some really, really diehard fans of Helldorado that are still playing it, because it's an excellent game with just superb minis. Honestly, kick the shit out of most of what people make today. That was the first one to have that game discontinued, and that was over some IP issues with Cypher Studios, Ninja Division, and Asmodee. At the same time, we lost Anima Tactics, which, again, Cypher Studios, bar none, makes some of the best miniatures ever made. Okay, best metal miniatures ever made, and I'm not kidding. Like, quality, just off the charts good for Cypher Studios. So good. How good is Cypher Studios? Do I have to remind you? Do I have to remind you guys how good Cypher Studios is? Cypher Studios was freaking off the charts good. They were just light years ahead of people. Light years ahead of people. And those two games both fell off the map, right? And then then we lost. So we lost those two games. We lost Relic Knights. We lost Wrath of Kings. Wrath of Kings, another sad one, man. What a fantastic rule system, world fluff. I read the whole Wrath of Kings story. Super awesome. And yeah, that one gone too. I am taking this shit personally. Because the common denominator with all these canceled games is me. I have the kiss of death, guys. Like, if I like a game, it's over. That game is done. If I say that I like something enough, the game just gets canceled. 40K is a good game. 40K is a good game. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyway, you sound so scared. So sad, Octane. No, I'm actually Nelson. I'm not in the worst spirits. I'm actually doing okay. Um, it's hey, what's up, At? Welcome, man. Yeah, it's I'm taking it personally. Like all of my favorite games have suffered the kiss of death and have died. Uh, the one exception to that was Malifaux. And I think the reason why Malifaux survived is because it went onto a version that was so upsettingly bad that I quit the game. So, so I think let's look at patterns. Okay, so again, this is me being an egomaniac and assuming that the universe revolves around me, which we all agree it does. But so uh, when a game gets the kiss of death from me, which is like, man, you're a great game. What an awesome game. Love this game. Great game. Then it will face a new version. And if it faces a new version and ends up being a game that I hate, then it gets to live. Okay? So Malifaux got to live. Batman miniatures game. I can't say that I loved Batman Season 1 or 1.5. I can't say that I loved the game, but I really enjoyed it. And then Season 2 came out, and we hated that game. So then, so we hated that game and went away for a while, and then it came back stronger and better, right? That's the formula, guys. If you make a game that I like, apparently what you're supposed to do is make a second edition of the game that I absolutely hate. And then I get on this stream and go, oh my god, this game sucks. It's terrible now. And then you give it a couple of years, and you come back, and then you make something that I really like. So, if only Guild Ball had made a really, really shitty third season. Season 3 Guild Ball was actually a lot of fun. It was actually a lot of fun. They did, like all seasons, there was always a little bit of balancing that needed to happen here and there. But it was a good system, and so it's gonna die. I relived remembering the 40k rant from the other day and then instantly sweat when you just Beetlejuiced it. 40k will never die. 40k will never die because the formula needs to sense my love. Okay, it needs to be earnest. So if you guys can get me into 40k. Challenge issued. If you can get me into 40k, and I'll be like, oh man, 40k is so great. I can't wait to play some of them Space Marines. It's going to be awesome. If you guys can get me into 40k, and then an edition comes out when I'm like, oh, this isn't very good anymore, then it will live forever. Actually, to be honest with you, 40k already did that because I played 40k at the end of Rogue Trader and 2nd edition, and I adored 2nd edition 40k. And then 3rd edition came out, and I hated it with a passion. I hated 3rd edition 40k. 3rd edition 40k, coincidentally, was when I won the most tournaments. I have most of my tournament wins in 40k 3rd edition because I hated that game with a passion, and I was out to prove to people how bad that game was. Okay, so what I used to do is I would 3rd edition 40k. I played Orcs Cult of Speed, and I took advantage. I exploited the exploding transport rule in 40k. 3rd edition, which really didn't kill any of the passengers. It was really hard. 2nd edition, if you threw an errant crack grenade and it landed in the back of a, either hit a rear armor or, blew up a truck or a track, it could cause a massive chain reaction to blow up half of somebody's army. That was 2nd edition 40k, and you would lose everything in your transports when this happened. 3rd edition 40k was just dumb because you could go, full speed across the table. You go 36 inches at your opponent. Your opponent can sit there, spend the entire turn blowing up an armor value 10 truck, and then you get to put 36 orc models down in his face. And nothing, and they're totally fine. No, there's no problems with them. They just got up, bolt a choppa, so base 2 attack dice, 36 models in your face, just chopping away. Strength 4. And so it was stupid. It was stupid. And you would just drop. I would just drop orcs on people's heads, and go, okay, you're dead now. You're dead. That was third edition. Third edition, it was just a shoving match, and you just, whoever dumped their trash on the other guy first, basically won third edition. Then, so I hated third edition. Fourth edition came out, and I liked it slightly more, and I was like, okay, at least there's some tactics in 40k fourth edition. Some. There was still stupidly overpowered stuff, like Hollow Falcons and that kind of stuff. Hollow Falcons with Harlequins was one of the broken things in 40k fourth edition. Star Cannon spam, that was super broken. But anyways, so fourth edition came out, fifth edition came out, and it was just so boring. It just okay, we get it. There's still Space Marines. I get it. We're still fighting over the fort. It's so grimdark. Oh gosh, what's gonna happen to humanity? Which I don't give a shit about. I don't even like humanity in the 41st millennium. They just live in hives and they're just all mindless fascist drones, basically. Who cares? Why should I be invested in this? Oh no, the orcs are gonna swallow them. I don't care. The Tyranids are gonna swallow them. They're gonna. No, I don't care. The Necrons are gonna come. I don't care. That was my whole 40k. Who cares? Not invested in it. The worlds aren't even worth saving, guys. Why do we care? Why do we care? So anyway, I'm here to save humanity. What humanity? What humanity? Really? Anyways, you recommend? I actually did try reading 40k novels. They were so lame. That made it even worse for me. It was they're still grimdark. Yeah. Okay. Still. Yeah. All right. Okay. There's no humanity in 40k. What I mean by that, if you were to read Rogue Trader second edition fluff, they talk about, they had some Eldar. They had named characters that you would get half invested in, and then they would die. I tried to read what novels. I tried to read I forget the name of that author that pissed me off. He wrote a bunch of the Eldar books. And I tried reading those, and I just could not. I just couldn't get into it. Here's the thing, guys. 40k has no sex in it. There's no. And I hate to sound so crude, but there's no. Everything is just so bleak that I just didn't care. I just didn't care. I'll fully admit that I didn't read much, but it was I'm not invested in these characters. They just, war is all there is. There's no, Malifaux, for example. There's, if you read Kirai's story, and you read about Frances, her lost love, and you read about, basically, I don't know. I didn't read Eisenhorn, but it's too late for me. I'll just tell you that. It's too late for me. Everything came off as really... And sex with what? With, Martina Navratilova? That's what... Look at the models for 40k. There's no women in 40k, guys. There's none. There's none. There's no softness. There's no humanity. There's nothing. There's no innocence. There's nothing. It's just... We're at war. We don't like these people. Fight. And, there may be some perverted shit that, Slaanesh or the Druchii get involved in, that kind of stuff. But never grabbed me. I was never invested in these things. It was for a short while. But I'm not here to trash 40K. Again, I'm here to be sad about Guild Ball. Okay, I mean, unless you guys can tell me that there is, a story that would rival, say, some of the tragedy between Brisket and Ox, and what she had to go through to free Ox, and what she had to sacrifice so that Ox could live, and that her former guild could survive. That was a very but I got very specifically invested. Okay, listen, dude, you're reading a bunch of names that don't mean anything to me, because you're playing a war game that doesn't have. Okay, this is a character. All right, this is a character. This is a person, and like, we play this person in game, and the rules of this person reflect this person's character. That's the difference. Okay. Commissary wants a leisure life, but some always gets into awkward situations that make him. That's kind of cool, Chris. That's kind of cool, I guess, but it's not enough. I don't know. It doesn't. We're trying to compare things like, okay, there's this novel about this one commissar and everything, but the overall theme of 40K is just boring to me. It's just very. I'm sure you can come up with good stories for it, but like, look at, compare Commissar Yarrick with or Gazkul, or let's take some of the major characters, and through 40K, and read Eldrad Ulthran. That dude is the most fanboy trash ever. I don't care. Go ahead, get mad at me, internet, whatever. I don't know why we're in this argument about fluff, but I'm sorry, it just doesn't hold a candle to the characters that I get invested in, playing Guild Ball, or even playing Batman. Sorry, it's just not the same thing, guys. I'm not gonna paint a squad of, I'm not gonna paint a squad of Space Marines and go, wow, I really think of that one Commissar guy in the thing. It's okay. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But anyway, that was, that's what got me invested in these games, and these smaller scales, because there's different things at stake. It wasn't just, the humanity, we're gonna fight, and there's the thing. Like, I don't care. There's not enough light in those universes to be worth a damn. It doesn't. So what? Like, you can even do. I would even say, like, Lord of the Rings. People love Lord of the Rings. There's Sam, Frodo, and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of cool and whatever. But even then, I just didn't feel like. I don't know. Maybe it's just my personal bias or something. Like, I really liked Lord of the Rings. I liked reading that when I was younger. I liked that kind of stuff. But you're not going to have me paint, a whole battalion of people from Gondor, and I'm going to be like, wow, this reminds me of that one time Boromir. It's not. It doesn't work that way. It just, I don't know. I need things that actually reach me and feel like living, breathing things. And 40K never. Well, I can't say never, because, like I said, Rogue Trader stuff that I read, I really enjoyed. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But those were just glimpses of, and really they were trying to show a larger picture. I never, like, you don't, I don't know. I can't get invested with wartime guys versus wartime guys. It's just boring to me. But anyways, Guild Ball, I could get totally invested with, because every single character has at least an interesting story, and they can get me invested or not invested. And my teams can also feel that way. Like, if you put together a team and, like, okay, I'm going to put Venin on this team with Crucible, and Venin, like, loves Crucible but he's a massive poser, and Crucible doesn't give a shit. Like, she's just trying to get her job done. And I can be down with that, and that's kind of cool. So there's, I guess it's just a different, it's almost like, pulling in close to something and enjoying that on a much smaller scale with smaller, but in my opinion, even more important stakes than pulling back and going, here's hundreds of people, fighting each other. Okay. You know what I mean? It's what's the name of that comedian? Eddie Izzard told a joke about this once where he was like, people just lose track. With regards to killing someone and murdering. Like, if you murder one person, it's like, oh shit, you murdered a person. Oh my god, you killed a person. If you kill 3 people, holy crap, man, you got real problems. Like, wow. If you kill 1,000 people, then it's like, oh, well, you must have had a really busy schedule. Right? Like, at some point the gravity of murder, the diminishing returns just kind of numb you to the rest of it. So at some point it's just like, okay, I no longer care. This person is a war guy. They're doing war crimes. That's a thing. Whereas, in Guild Ball, Venom tries to kill a fat guy and fails. And then he poisons Catalyst. Then he goes home and then gets beat to death by Vet Fangtooth, and then gets his throat slit by Gray. That's awesome, okay? There are only 2 people died in that story, but that's a great story. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I got invested in that story. I don't feel that way with, I don't know. Hey, what's up, Andrew?
Miss died to a stampede in the same story.
Yeah.
Like, one of the core, most mysterious characters in all of the game.
Just killed him.
Just dies in a stampede. Arguably the most devout follower of Solthesius on that team.
If you were a Mist fan, you would be going, what the hell? They just killed my guy.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, wait, so are we not going to explore the Siren Mist?
Yeah, what happened with the Siren Mist thing?
Dude, they're like, dude, my fan fiction, bro. I was working so hard on that. Like, I don't understand. We know it's Miss Baby. Come on.
Yeah. This is your baby. What's up, dude?
Is this like Guild Balls Anonymous, or is this where we're at?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So are we gonna buy the IP or what, dude? I'm telling you, I got 3D printers on layaway ready. I don't know. I mean, we would quicker than Steamforged games, bro.
We would have to crowdfund for some of that money. I don't think we could pony up enough.
How much for the IP after a year, do you think? After, like right now they're gonna be like, oh yeah, some outrageous number. But give them a year or 2, I think they'll drop it down.
I think they'll forget. And
exactly.
We'll just make shit on the side. They won't even know. What's that for?
See, like, I'm
that's for Fight Ball. That's our other game, Fight Ball.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do.
That's the Drunken Guild, bro. I mean, Drunken Team. Okay, but how much do you think they actually sell the IP for? Like after like maybe a year or 2 of just letting it die into nothingness. Like right now, it's a little hot, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't even venture a guess, like where. And when we say we're going to buy the IP, that means we don't buy anything physical from them, right? We just buy the rights
to call it whatever you want. We can literally change the name to FU Steamforge.
Yeah,
like we can do like there's a guild called the Steam Guild, and they just suck. Like every model sucks. But like we just name it after different like executives in Steamforge games. Make an entire guild of just Steamforge executives.
How come this one is named Matt Hart? Oh, but it's one word. His name is Matt Hart.
Yeah, it's Matt with an E at the end. Matte. Matt. No resemblance whatsoever. He looks exactly like me. Nah. You're dreaming, man. You're dreaming. So, like, how honestly, how much do you think they'd sell it for? No lie.
Oh, at this point, it would be it's gonna be in the six-figure range. I would think.
Exactly. At
It's
this
gonna
point,
be in
I'm
the
thinking.
six-figure range. You give it a year or more. I don't know. Maybe it goes for $50K or something like that. Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. Is like honestly, you give it like I think you give it 2 years. Right? You give it 2 years of just radio silence, right?
Yeah.
And then like we just come like just swinging, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, and we buy the IP for like dirt, right? Like I'm just saying.
I've been sitting on that Eldorado plan too. But the damn French won't give up that game. They love it too much.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
We will
like,
continue to play Eldorado. You can't stop us. They're still
that,
playing that game.
Like, see, that's the thing is like I think Steam Forge wanted to kill it for years. Like, I think that's their issue is like you give it 2 years of radio silence where it's straight up like, oh yeah, like. Oh yeah, that's what we started with, but now we're doing Dark Souls like 5.0 Kickstarter. You know,
I would think, and I don't know. This is probably gonna just sound awful, but I do think that Rich and Matt specifically would if they were to sell it, they would still want to have some way of they would want to still have some voice in whatever iteration it would take on.
Nah, that sucks.
I think,
sucks for them.
Yeah,
nah,
right.
Nah, I'd literally say like I'd be like, yeah, I know that's what you want, but like unfortunately, like you killed the game yourself. Like that's not your choice anymore.
Your problem, it's your problem now. You don't have to.
That's what I would say if I was Elon Musk and I was like, I'm gonna buy the IP for Guild Ball. I'd just be like, no. Like you dug the grave and you put the thing in it, and now you want to say of like what's on the tombstone? Like no,
no. If they,
yeah,
for example, when GW did that to Blood Bowl, they dropped it officially, but Jervis Johnson kept himself on the BBRC, the Blood Bowl Rules Committee, so he kept a seat on that. Not representing GW, but because he still had significant attachment to the game. So that's why he did that, and he stayed on for I want to say 5 additional versions of Blood Bowl, and was still still reasonably respected by the community. And it's like, oh, Jervis wanted this, and so we wanted to do that. I would see if if somebody were to go that route, I could see like Rich and Matt going, oh, we want to be like a Jervis Johnson where
where it's community fed,
where there's a rules committee. And I could see in Guild Ball, who would be the rules committee. There would probably be people representing different regions in different countries. So you might have bots and John Clough and maybe a couple of guys from the U.S. that say, okay, we represent the U.S. part of the Guild Ball Rules Committee. Mm-hmm. You've got folks from the UK. You're going to have folks from Poland that are very prominent in their community. So that it just depends on if that group collectively would wish to do it. Because you would have a splintering. You'd have people that go, no, we can do it. We'll take over Guild Ball. But what you're at the heart of the issue is like, look, if we just took the IP, then we just get to say, here's what we're doing with Guild Ball, right?
Well, see, like that's the thing is like I feel like depending on who bought the IP, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it was some diehard Guild Ball people, right? And like let's say we split it like 20% between 5 different people, right? Like I would not like let's say hypothetically speaking, 5 years in the future we buy the Guild Ball IP, right? It's you, right? So Octave, myself, Kevin, and like two other people, let's say like Cody and like Sean, right? Like let's say like we got like those 5 people, right? And I'll include other people, like let's say like like we got those 5 people. We're all like really pretty decent at Guild Ball, right? And then like anyone else who's like top of the charts on Longshank, we just literally call them and we're like, what do you think of this? Because like that's the thing, is if you buy Longshanks and if you buy the IP, you're basically just ready to propel the game.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, like Longshanks gives you so much information. Like I can't believe as a company they have, because they don't own Longshanks, right? I don't think they own
Longshanks is independently owned and run.
Yeah, like isn't like a company that is not even connected to Steamforged Games is giving them like thousands of dollars worth of information for free. Like I could not believe they're like, it's the community's fault. Like, if anything, they're giving you like Google pays for that shit, man.
Yeah.
Right? Google pays for information like that. And we're not talking about like dollars. We're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars for just information just like that.
Yeah. Right? And that's such a poor argument too. That we didn't like the way they were playing our game. It's your game, dude. Just redesign it then. Like how many? They didn't like specifically. They didn't like stalling in the game, and I get that, right? I'm like, we proposed rules like call an offsides or call delay of game. Like have things. Remember, I had this rule where you could actually buy a delay of game, where if the same model had it for after 2 activations, it's still holding it, you could spend 3 momentum and call delay of game, and you just have to throw the ball back in. You know what I mean? Like there were things that you could have done, even if my idea is bad. The fact is, you're the game designers. You just say you don't like the way we're playing it. Just change the game. It's fine. They've done it. They've done it. Hundreds of times. By the time we hit season 4.2, they've changed the game. All kinds of different ways. And so it's like, oh, we don't like the way they're playing our game, and you that's your fault.
Yeah, and it's funny because one of my favorite quotes ever, I remember it's like from this English class I took when I was in high school, right? The English teacher said that like there's this author, right? There's this author, and the author makes this book. And during an interview with the author, someone in the crowd stands up and says, I was reading your book and I thought this. And the author's like, that's what I didn't want you to think. And the guy was like, well, with all due respect, if that's what the audience thinks, then maybe you didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
And literally, everyone in the audience is like, that's exactly what the guy in the audience thought the book was supposed to represent. That's what everybody in the audience thought, right? So it's not the audience's fault. It's the author's fault at that point, right? And like not only that, right? But like, don't get me wrong, the Guild Ball community is toxic. Like it's so toxic. It's honestly one of the most toxic gaming communities I've ever been in, like miniature wise.
Whoa, really?
Not even just not even just miniature wise, right? Like not just like to an extent of like video games as well. We know how toxic those communities can be. Guild Ball has to be one of the most toxic communities I've ever been in, like period. Maybe that's my experience from the Brewers Guild.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, you're interacting
I don't think
with the Brewers
so, brother, because like I was not only the Brewers Guild, but I remember like I was interacting on Gubs too, and the I don't know who the main moderator of Gubs is, but like, dude, Jesus Christ, man. like, oh my God. Like, it's so, the people who are in charge of keeping the peace are like not peacemakers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's, I hate to say it, like, yeah, Guild Ball as far as like online is very, very toxic. Like, I remember I was like, I was in the community page for the Brewers, right? And this one guy's like, "Hey, I'm new to Guild Ball. I want to play Brewers. What do I play?" And everyone's like, "Noob!" But like obviously not like in that very sense. But they were writing comments like, "Oh, you should know that." You know, like if you're not taking Decimate, you're an idiot. Like, you know, like you better play Spigot and Fry. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
The guy, or he, like, someone would ask a noob question like, "Hey, like, I don't know if I should play Tapper, Corker, or Esters, right?" And everyone's like, "Oh, Tapper's trash. Like, you know, like, don't play that if you want to be competitive." And I'm like, dude, the guy's new.
I get that all the time with Midas stuff on the Alchemist. When it was just you play Smoke, you just never put Midas down.
Yeah, like, so that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. I get that. It's
the community is not perfect, but blaming the community is the worst move you can do from a PR standpoint.
Yeah, well, they're not even blaming. They weren't even blaming the vocal, because there's two aspects of it. There's the vocal community, what you're talking about, which is, you know, they're assholes. But then you also have what I would call the you know, the face-to-face community, the people that you meet at the tournaments, the actual faces and people, you know, like like any of the members of all the podcasts and stuff, like Michael, like Jacob Frelinger, like those are definitely part of the Guild Ball community, but they're not assholes, and those are the guys that are at these big events, and that they're the ones that are logging all that data that's in Longshanks. And the Steamforge comment was, the way I read it, was more focused around that data, which was just saying, people are, well, they were saying the game is too competitive. People are playing, they're playing these razor sharp, you know, I'm gonna, you know, like the compound goalie bullshit that Chicago made up, you know, and so and I know this firsthand from just, you know, volunteering with Steamforge and being part of those conversations where the lead developers would actually get really frustrated with the player base, the playtesting player base, and just prominent members of the community. Like, oh, look, you know, so-and-so won another tournament, and he won it just by, you know, having Corker sit in front of his goal the whole time. And so the developers would get really mad about that. I'm like, no, we're not going to allow people to just camp and sit on the ball. I'm like, well, write rules then.
Exactly.
Like you don't want people to play it. You can't just say, oh, well, no, it's not going to work when it's over. And they're like, no, like, write the rules so that they don't do that. And I felt like Jamie understood that, and he proposed a lot of radical things behind the scenes to try to eliminate that, but he was getting shot down a lot. Like I can't say that but he was one of the main voices. It's like, I want Guild Ball to be more fluid. We want to see this be like a game that takes place over the whole field. And you know, it's violent in spots, and then it's really agile in other spots. And like, okay, I was like, okay, I could totally get behind that vision. But then when it came down to, you know, actually putting those rules to paper, they just, for whatever reason, they just wouldn't implement those things. It was like, oh, we're there. They would make a change to a model and go, here, we've fixed ball camping. And you're like, no, you haven't. You fixed ball camping on one miniature. There's still 30 other characters in the game that are going to pull that same thing if that's what you really want to get rid of. So they didn't like that. They also didn't like, which is weird, they didn't like the fact that, and I'm two minds about this too, that a good player is going to beat a weak player, you know, 99 out of 100 times. Like, that's just the way it is. But that's reality. If you have a balanced system that rewards good decision making over poor decision making, yeah, and you have high success rates. The system I would compare it to is Relic Knights, right? Where Relic Knights,
exactly,
everything you do in Relic Knights is 100% successful. It's a matter of doing the right things and making sure that your actions are more efficient and they're stronger than your opponent's actions.
Yes,
and therefore absolutely. In Relic Knights, the better player always won.
Yes,
and game designers, they don't like that after a fashion, because what happens is they feel like that's not a very good environment for new players to walk into. And I totally get that. I totally understand that. I don't know how I would address it personally, but I do feel like, okay, if that's the scenario, then like I always talk to you guys about doing Guild Ball Light.
Right? Yeah, okay. That's what I was gonna say, is make a version that is for newer people, right? Or like a super fast paced, like chibi version of the game or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Like that, like technically even veterans would want to play, because they're like, yeah, it only takes like, I don't know, 30 minutes to play a chibi light. Right? Yeah. And then like you're
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, over time, let's say that really was the gateway, and you had a lot of people playing Guild Ball Light. This is all my theoretical bullshit, but let's say you had a large player base playing Guild Ball Light, and you had a smaller player base that was like, we're just playing that classic hardcore Guild Ball. Eventually, the people playing Guild Ball Light would get those fundamental concepts, and the top players from Guild Ball Light would be like, look, this is cool and all, but like I'm losing to kind of some bullshit, just random things sometimes. I want to see how good I actually am. Yeah. And you'd be like, well, here's where you move into Guild Ball proper, and they just get their shit stomped in probably for the first, 2 dozen games, but they understand why. Like, they walked into that scenario and like, okay, I'm not playing, where I roll a 6 and my ball magically spins around the other guy and lands in the goal. I've got to set things up, and these guys that have been playing, like, they're just sharp. And they know their teams, and they know positioning. They understand a lot of things that I was starting to learn playing Guild Ball Light, and I'm going to have to like kind of push myself a little harder.
Yeah. One of the smartest things a company can do is create what I would call like false supply and demand, right? Mm-hmm. So like, or false want for something, right? So for example, like if you have, like you're saying, a large community of people that play Guild Ball Light, and then they find, like you said, like they're kind of tired of like there's this janky rules with terrain and stuff, like, oh, like you could go to this, instead of fast ground, you could make it teleportation ground. Mm-hmm. So like, people are everywhere over the map, right? You're kind of like, I kind of want to be more sharp and connected with the models. Like, I want to play more hardcore. So then you go to Steamforged games proper. Not Steamforged game. You go to Guild Ball proper, right? Yeah. And then you play. And like you said, but the thing is, people got there of their own accord.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the fact that like you're kind of shoving it, like, oh, if you want to play Guild Ball, then yes, you got to get in here with like people who've been playing it for 5 years, and like this guy kicks off with his mascot for some reason, and we don't know why, but something's going on, like.
And I would also think that a lighter version of the game would even be appealing to the hardcore players as well, because it'd be like, hey, dude, I got 30 minutes to kill. Oh yeah, we're just waiting. We're waiting for our buddy to show up. Okay, let's put your 4 models down and my 4 chibi models down. We just kick that ball around because it's fun.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and I believe the way you do the light version is you can have a full team of 6. Mm-hmm. Have a full team of 6, but like make the terrain insane to where like terrain matters like a lot.
Yeah.
Like have something that can teleport people around the map. Like have like. If you score 2 goals, you auto win, or if you kill like 3 people, you auto win, or something along those lines. And then like you could just tone down stat lines or whatever, right? Like, but like you just make it so it's 30 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then like I don't know, like maybe even have a terrain piece that like if you shoot it into like this funnel or something, like you have an X amount of, like you roll, I don't know, I'm just bullshitting, right? But like that's the point, is like it seems easy enough to make a light version of the game. Like
Yeah.
you just make terrain nutty to the point where it's like, yes, this is the ball cannon.
And
right?
you break your
Like,
plot cards again.
Exactly.
You're like, holy shit, I have that amazing card. You just do that. Let's read some comments here. You mean like what Infinity is trying to do with Code 1? I haven't been paying too much attention to Code 1 other than like all Infinity things. I love the models. I saw some Code 1 at CQ the other day. I'm like, oh, what are this? Pretty. But I didn't know what it was. But okay, so they're it sounds like they're trying to lighten Infinity a little bit. I don't know. I feel like Infinity it occupies a different brain space, in my opinion. And take this from somebody that frankly hasn't played a lot of Infinity. But one of the things that stuck out with me about Infinity is, its weapon stats. There's a lot of weapon stats. There's a lot of like list tweaking to get efficiencies out of your list. To me it seems like Infinity deals with their skill and strategy in a kind of a different part of the brain than Guild Ball does. Guild Ball attacks a very different set of your, I guess, your cognitive skills. But let's see. Nelson says, I agree. That's why I never got super into the game, because the 4 games I've played, I got killed by vets. Yeah, it's the people who play 3 to 4 games a week minimum. Yeah, I mean, we went through, we were playing, and at our height, like we were playing almost, there was a game of Guild Ball happening at CQ that lasted, what was that? It lasted from May to July. Yeah, it went from May to July, where we were just playing the shit out of Guild Ball. It would be like a Thursday night, and we'd have like 15 people out there playing Guild Ball.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yeah, well, see, like, the thing is, I don't understand why, oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Like, I don't see why Guild Ball, like, Steamforged didn't see that, right? Like, they know the obstacle in front of them.
And they were competitive Warmahorde players.
Yeah.
Like, they were playing international tournaments for Warmahorde. Like, how is this news to them?
Exactly.
You're competitive front end, and you set out to make a competitive game. And I think what they did so well was that they made a competitive game appealing to a wider range of players, in my opinion. Because there was, like, for example, I always talk my shit about competitive 40K, which I used to play. That appealed to a narrow range of not so nice people a lot of the times. Whereas competitive Guild Ball, it was like I was saying, like competitive, if you meet like the highest skilled players in Guild Ball, they're cool as shit. Because they're really genuinely nice people. Because the goal in Guild Ball, when you're playing competitive Guild Ball, the goal is to play a really clean, precise game. And when you're playing against a really high skilled player, they will help you stick to that. That will be the goal for the game, and they want you to play cleaner and they want you to play better because it's a better experience for them as well. That's not the same with other competitive games. Other competitive games are, oh, you're a baby seal. I'm going to walk over there, dick stomp you. I won't have to explain anything to you. And I just pick up my shit and leave. Right?
Don't bring up the baby seals, man. No, Jesus Christ.
But it's true. That's what I really liked about competitive Guild Ball, and I hadn't felt good about competitive miniature gaming for a while because of that was my experience before. And Guild Ball was like, no, wait, you can play this competitive. It's a sport. You're supposed to play it competitively. You're supposed to enjoy it competitively. But the best way to do that is to get those players around you and to build up your collective skill.
Yep.
At the game. That's how our meta really, how we sort of solidified as a meta, was that we had the players at the top for a while, right? It was the same, 2 or 3 players at the top. But, towards the end there, we would go to these tournaments and we're like, shit, I don't know who's
It's
going to win
anyone's
this.
game.
Yeah. You're like,
It was metal sharpening metal. Yeah.
Yeah. And but the thing is, it didn't get to like, man, I'm so sick of Kevin, I can't stand that dude. Fucking hate that guy. Like, it never got to that. It got to it was, I gotta beat, oh man, is Kevin gonna go down today? Are we gonna beat Kevin today? Like, that was the thing. Like, everybody knows Kevin's a really strong player. Are we gonna beat Kevin today? Oh, hey, there he is.
That's my name. I just jumped in. I'm not watching the channel. I just jumped in. I heard.
I said your name 3 times in a row, and you showed up. What's up, man? We were just talking about like some of the coolest people you meet playing Guild Ball on the competitive side are like the sharpest players, and usually like some
you
of
want to learn more from them,
right? And some of the D-bags are the ones you're like, that guy's not actually very good. It's like,
think they're good.
Yeah, you get the people that think they're good. They're highly opinionated, and you're like, you'll see those guys in so many other games where it's like, I'm going to take advantage of this in this army, and that's going to be a thing. Guild Ball is like, okay, you can do that to a very slight degree, but if you don't play clean and you're not you're not keeping that standard up with your opponent, you're not going to be very good at the game overall. I mean, you're going to be trapped.
What I saw is the people who thought the game was riddled with problems are the people who wish it was more unbalanced. They just didn't understand that it's a balanced game.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah,
that's pretty fair. I mean, there are gripes. We're like, you could go, okay, Vet Cat, yeah, that was an issue. Vet Boar, that was an issue. But even then, in the grand scale of things, it was still fairly balanced, even with the known troublemakers in there.
The Alchemists needed it, and the Butchers needed it. The Butchers were awful without Vet Boar, and they became awful without Vet Boar.
Mm-hmm. I'm reading some comments. Oh, okay. There's some Warming Hordes talk going on there. I thought I saw Cameron show up in the chat, but hey, Cameron, I saw you like flash by for a second, I think. Oh, my condolences. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude.
The D-bags are good at torturing their opponents. I don't know. I mean, negative play experience in Guild Ball, like
I'm back.
Frankly, it's been my few negative experience in Guild Ball, game experience in Guild Ball are games that I've won mostly. I just didn't like the person. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that guy's kind of a prick, but or when somebody rages, like they've clearly lost the game. Like you've got them on tilt. Like that's not a.
I think the most unsatisfying games you have is when you win because your opponent misses a goal or something like that. Like something they should have easily kicked your butt on, and then you won because they missed something. Like that just feels bad.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, you missed your goal, so you don't win. That really sucks.
Like
now I win.
That last game that I played with Bing, we missed like 3 or 4 goals that game.
But and it was like fun. If everyone's missing, those get fun.
I was like, anybody could win this game, and it got to a point where like I don't really care if I win or lose. This has already been a great game. It doesn't matter, right? And the ball bounces your way, you kick, and you're like, you kick in the final goal. Okay, cool. But I don't know. Let's see. Cameron says, I hardly played enough to think it was balanced or not. I thought the models were awesome, pretty much. Okay, I agree. A giant bear that can play football. Yes.
Yep.
Good comment. I don't know. I do think that Steamforge really they totally glossed over the fact that we did not have product. We didn't have a product pipeline for almost 2 seasons.
Well, it's not their fault, guys. Remember, it's not their fault. It's the community's fault. It's not Steamforge Games' fault that makes 15 Kickstarters in a year and has a perfect pipeline for those. It's the community.
Or God tier that makes perfect plastic.
Exactly. Oh my god. I don't know. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, 3 years down the road, we buy the IP for 20 grand. We make Guild Ball Light, Guild Ball Proper, and we make an RPG. There you go.
Oh, RPG would be pretty cool.
Yeah, right? There you go.
Yeah.
The free cities.
The free
That's what you
cities,
call it.
that would be pretty damn cool.
I'm making on Steamforge Games. Take notes. Oh wait, no. Sorry.
See, all they had to do was like instead of Dungeons and Doggies, make Guild Ball characters.
Exactly.
They don't even have to be, have rules.
Yeah,
Just make it within their IP. Like that's all you needed to do.
What?
they could have literally done that with the teams. Like this season we're gonna release chibi teams. This season we're gonna release horror themed. And we wouldn't care. We'd be like, oh man, I own Alchemist, but you know what? I really need that circus clown version of Alchemist. Like Malifaux does it all the time. They're like, here's the nightmare version of a crew, and people go nuts and buy that.
Yeah. I wish they would have just left the game at like once everyone had 2 captains, 2 mascots, and 12 squaddies, and then no minors. It was fine.
Yeah.
End it with blacksmiths. That would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a game we can go on, because now we have to leave it up to the community to fix the last 4 teams that don't have crossovers, and it's just this gray area. It's not like I don't know. I wish it was like at a point where everything was even.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think.
why didn't they just finish the season? Jeez. I mean,
Can they just sell us the IP? Can they just dude? I'm telling you.
I feel like they didn't even try. They could have kickstarted like the rest of the minor guilds. Like people would have funded that. I don't know.
Exactly, easy. I
Just
think that
finish
would have
it,
been
man.
easy to do.
okay,
Finish
we
it,
gotta.
let us know that the game's coming to an end, but we're gonna kickstart the last 4 teams and then finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the decency to at least finish the lore. I was about to flip out if I didn't find out who the Bruise Trader was. I'll be like, hold on. No, it's Stave, but still.
The Zaglars 83. There is no SFG fault at all. Shops were full of GB items. They listen, community, and respect players as wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Just drop the comment there. Fair enough. Well played.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up, man?
What up, Sean?
Yeah,
Not
man.
much.
It just that's probably the most frustrating part. Was like, okay, we all kind of saw that the ship was going down, but we didn't.
I thought they were gonna finish it.
Yeah, we thought we were like, okay, at least we're gonna get entertainers and lamplighters and the other minor guilds, and we just didn't even get that. Like, how hard would it have been, honestly? And like even like Andrew was saying, like you could Kickstarter or just special order it. That way they don't have to keep inventory. Like, how bad would that have been? Especially if we knew
ads.
They don't even have a chance to mismanage their distribution. Everything's done for them.
But what if that was part of the announcement? Like, hey guys, Guild Ball's ending. We're gonna the last bit of products are gonna go out in November, but our plan is to finish the last 4 minor guilds.
I mean, people would still be salty, but hopefully less.
Yeah. But that would at least give us like the ability to go, okay, everybody's gonna get their teams. We're gonna play for a while and just see how it tracks. And for Guild Ball, it even gives them for SFG, it gives them the ability to kind of track like, oh wait, our game actually still pretty damn popular based on how these sold and how the community responded to it. Maybe it's not such a great idea to just shut the door,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Matt did a Q&A a couple months ago, like not even that long ago, where he was like, no, Guild Ball is in full steam ahead. We have no plans to ever stop it.
Yeah.
And like they kind of just baited us,
That
like,
was April.
At Gen Con, they were like, oh yeah, we have a separate Guild Ball announcement video. It's coming later. And then, we got a text message.
Yeah. The second, yes, we have a separate session. Also, we quit. That was
It's rough,
Yeah.
boys. It's a sad
like
day.
that.
It was super cold-blooded.
Do you
in
think,
all honesty.
well, I mean, along those lines, do you think something sudden happened between that
Possibly.
announcement? Like something
Maybe like
catastrophic
something
happened?
like, maybe like a pandemic of some sort.
You want to know what?
Perhaps. I don't know. I think that gives them an excuse, though.
Well,
It was going downhill.
Honestly, it's a bad excuse because Tabletop Simulator exists. Like,
Yep.
make a Vassal or a Tabletop Simulator and be like, yeah, guys, we have this. You could play for a while. Like, and we're releasing new models. So, like, I don't know.
It just gives them more
It just
time
seems
to like sit down, talk about what's going wrong with their company, and fix it.
Yeah. I feel like the issue is like it's not necessarily like really what happened was like the thing that got them off the ground was no longer really what was bringing them in the big money, and like some big wig exec or whatever that's like, what's this piece of shit over here? It's like we're gonna do some spring cleaning. It's
But yeah,
basically like,
they were bought out, right? They were acquired by someone.
They
at
were.
some point. I remember
Yeah.
when Nathan and I went to LVO, I talked to the rep at the SFG table, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're going through a transition right now." So that was like the beginning of the end, right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
well, I'm telling you, we give them 3 years, right? We buy the IP to make. I'm guys.
Okay, I'm gonna save money.
They'll
I'm
ever
gonna save
sell
money.
DLP.
Like, okay, well, why wouldn't they, right? Like, it's like
Because even in their farewell speech, they said, we may revisit this. There's never a chance they're going to let anyone make money off their IP ever again.
No.
like, I don't know. I feel like if you give them 3 years of a dead game, right? Like,
I
don't know. I'm just saying, man.
I can
think,
say
like,
that the Anima franchise did that they never sold their IP and they just went into they just went down the black hole. And people were like, look, we'll buy this. You can revive this, and they just let it die.
well, maybe then, I guess not. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, and then you've seen there's other instances though where companies have sold their IP, right? I mean, Asmodee sold they sold the Eldorado universe to Cypher, and then they bought it back. Hey, that's doing okay, and then they just bought it back, and then it still died.
Yep.
So,
Oh god.
yeah, Cameron, this is a Harley Quinn mini from that movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nelson says that's way more proper. As much flack and hate FFG received, FFG does that type of farewell announcement for many of their extremely popular games. Yeah,
Actually, that is true.
that's true.
It just kind of hurts when you really think about it, because if you have a game that's like successful, and all of a sudden it's just like you cut the legs out from under it, even though that, yes, you had COVID-19 happening and all that type of stuff. They had like 4 to 5 months in order to figure out maybe we should rush the rest of this out and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I like this better than if they destroyed the game.
This is true.
That would have been terrible. If they took in the community feedback from that test, dude.
Oh
would-
my god.
I would have been so salty.
Same. I would have, if they did that and they were like, yes, we will just make everyone hate our game, I would have been.
I don't know.
Yay.
I think for me it just kind of hurts because this is like probably like the third game that I've gotten into where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna graft the knees now, and we're just gonna leave it out there in the sun in order to die, possibly.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. that we had to open up old wounds and all that type of stuff. Relic Knights,
Yeah.
gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
What you call it? The one that Simon made that
Wrath of
actually was
Kings?
good,
Yeah.
gone.
Wrath
Pretty
of the
much
King.
Simon is on the poop list, and SFG is pretty much there now. Too.
Yeah.
But see,
And of course,
I take it personally because I was involved in all of the getting you guys into all those games.
look, we don't blame you for wanting us to actually build a community, because that's what it is. Gamings are built off of communities. Otherwise, people wouldn't be playing it. It's just that I felt like those 3 communities, like all of these, you actually felt good about bringing other people into it. You didn't feel like, man, I'm dragging my friend to War Machine and Hordes tournament where he's probably going to get raffle stomped by 10 Cawdor players today.
Sure.
I don't know. In the dozen of people I taught War Machine and Hordes, I never brought them to a tournament before I at least beat them 20 times.
Yeah. Half of the time I told people, hey, look, we could play as friends. I'm not going to take you to a tournament because some of those guys will destroy you publicly and personally.
Let's see. Question from Cameron. Let me get your guys' opinion on this because I've had this thought before. Do you think it looked like it started to go down when they kept doing different versions of the same character?
No, I love that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Models were awesome.
Yeah. What
It was the third captain, I think. The third captain and the lack of production.
For me, it was when I started to see the plastic kits fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was like, oh, we're in real trouble because they announced, oh, hey guys, we're going to do all the teams before the end of the year and everything will be in plastic. And I was like, have you not seen
imagine a world where that happened though? This game would still be big.
This game would be gigantic. It would be
if that happened?
It would be $100 for a 12-man team if everything came out in plastic, and I would be bragging up the ass about this is the only miniature game that when it got more popular, it got cheaper and it got easier, right? Because that was the plan. And then when it started to go downhill, and then they go, oh, we're gonna go resin, and I'm putting together these really soapy night models, going, oh shit. It's not a good sign, guys.
Turn back.
Yeah, the plastic quality. Yeah, it's pretty shit. The kickoff. Well, here's the thing, Cameron. The kickoff set. Yeah, that had issues. It looked like ass. But it started to get to a point where, if you look at the newer stuff, Cooks and Falconers and that, it was starting to get better. I mean, at the very least, I was hoping that they would do plastic kits, but you could still order metal if you wanted it. Yeah. Which is oddly, guess what they're doing that with? Fucking God Tier. You can do that with God Tier. They actually hit the promised land with an inferior game, and we didn't get that.
It's the community's fault. Forget it's the community's fault.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's just depressing. They got God Tier to the point where they can reliably deliver plastic kit, and they're with Guild Ball, no, we're gonna press on with resin.
Yeah.
And
where the Hunters Guild, 50% of that guild box just breaks by a strong breath of wind. I was like, Jesus Christ! I waited 6 months for this kit. I put it in my transport bag. I open up the bag. Ah, yes, Theron's bow is broken. The shotgun boy's shotgun is broken. I was like, oh my god.
12 ankles are broken?
Yeah, 12 ankles are broken. Yes, I've played this kit once and everything is broken.
Sad.
But I remember when Farmers came out and it sparked a little interest locally. People were like, oh, I'm gonna buy this Farmers Guild because it's only it's only $50 for these 6 minis. Yeah, and I looked at those minis and I was like, these aren't great, but look at all these people that are now interested in it because it's so easy. You just buy this thing, you unwrap it, and you put it on the board and you start playing. It has its tokens in it. It has the those little life dials that no one uses, but it was playable. It was serviceable, and I was like, wow, if they actually do this and they continue to get better, we're in good shape. This is going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, about that.
And then what was the kit that was? I think it was I want to say it was the Navigators. Was the one that was really woefully really under delivered, and
Yeah.
That was when it was like, oh.
The ship sank and stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, that was the saddest thing. And then they're like, so guys, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer in order to get. It's like because the cards are water damaged. It's like I
Yep.
don't care if the cards are water damaged. Give me the damn models.
Oh, remember,
like-
Sean, it's the community's fault that the cards were water damaged, bro. It's the community's fault that they wanted the product.
I just can't believe they didn't say anything about that.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
The fact that, we couldn't even get new people to play, even if we tried, because they can't get models.
Ugh, yeah, I don't know, dude. I wish maybe 5-10 years from now they're willing to sell the IP, but you might have a point. They might just take that to the grave.
Yeah, they might.
Which is sad because. Oh, sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say, hopefully there's better sports games out.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we'll play that game. That's
Because
It doesn't have to be a sports game. I just like the skirmish game. Like, it's just
Yeah.
a great skirmish game. Like,
in all honesty, at least in my personal opinion, I felt like this was the best sports game that has ever come out.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
Blood Bowl is on top of the charts, but like for easy access, understanding, not having to
mean,
be like
Warhammer's
what-
on top of the charts, too. That's not winning any
God,
game
no.
design awards.
You know, we
Yeah.
cry about stalling in Guild Ball. Have you seen stalling in Blood Bowl?
Nope.
it's
Holy
bad.
shit! Have you played against a dwarf team? That's all. Holy crap! That is, yeah. We did not have stalling in Guild Ball anywhere near
No.
playing a dwarf team in Blood Bowl.
And even if someone was stalling, like we always had like the one character that could probably grab a hold of the ball from a long distance and be like, "That's cool. Let me put this ball in the goal now."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
They could have just had like a foos rule, like foosball.
Yep.
Someone has the ball for 2 turns. You just put it in the middle of the board, and
Yeah, exactly. We were
There's so
talking
many
about
things
that
they could
earlier.
change it.
Yeah.
I just feel like they didn't even try, man. That's what's
Yeah.
the worst
What I was
part.
talking about earlier, Kevin, was
Really?
that kind of behind the scenes that some of the developers like Perkins and stuff would really go on about. I don't want to see stalling. I don't want to see people holding the ball forever. And it was suggested, like what we were talking about, what you just brought up was suggested. Why not just have a delay of game rule? Somebody's holding the ball for 2 turns. You pay 3 momentum, and bam, you just kick off from the middle of the board or something like that.
Mhm.
Like those things were suggested, but they never even made it out of the gate. And it was like, the changes that they put in, they're like, oh, finally, stalling is over, and we're like, no, it's not. That didn't fix it. Still,
What's
still-
sad is we never even played the stall game. Like, ever.
No,
That's
our
what's
meta
really
was-
sad too. We didn't even see the problems.
our meta is awesome. Like we just do. Okay, I'm bored now. We're
We're just
gonna,
balls to the wall.
we're gonna throw our models at each other.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is they were like, I remember I was talking to people online. They're like, yeah, well, what if someone just stalls? I'm like, yeah, I guess I just kill their entire team, right? That was the funniest thing. Is they're like, well,
Hey, what's up, David?
What if they stall? And I'm like, well, I play Brewers, so I mean, I
Bash
just
their
kill
heads
them all, right? And they're all crowded around a goal, which means that I can literally just surround them, and then they respawn on their side of the field, and I just kill them again. And the guy's like, but that never happens. I'm like, Wookie.
no, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah. They're like, we need decimate.
But we talked before about the reality of if you're playing a miniatures game and you want that miniatures game to survive, then you need to keep buying product. Like you have to figure out how specifically you have to buy product off of a shelf, right? That's
Yeah.
like a big component to why these games start to flounder, is because they get an established player base and they're happy with what they've got. They don't have to collect much. That's a nice thing for the customer, but it's ultimately kind of bad for the manufacturer. And so
Do limited ed models,
yeah,
like limited ed resculpts of certain things, and then just sell out of those, and you're like, all right, good, we're good for another month.
hmm
they could have done so many things, even just like, oh, here's a limited edition token set, for crying out loud. There's so many things that
Exactly.
they could have just done that were just like, okay, you like your team, fine. You know, here's some cool, like, I don't know, holiday widgets. Any, like, you could come up with just whatever, and it's
Let
more
us
reason
pay
for,
you for your fluff. Like, let us
Yeah.
pay you, please.
you know, look at Malifaux decks. They had limited edition. They have decks for everything. It's the same damn deck of cards. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But like, oh, they have a new one. I'll buy it. Like that's what they've figured out. Like, oh, I want that because it's part of the it's a part of the like gamer personality. Is that there? So many of us are collectors as well,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing. Like you want to have things for people to collect.
A lot of their dice sets sold out too. That's the
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, I don't understand how they didn't think. Oh my god!
You are correct. They didn't think.
Like, it must start Kickstarter. Oh my god! Dude. When you walk into the office, and I swear, like on the calendar is like, all right, we're chopping Dungeons and Doggies.
Are they like on 4 different Kickstarters right now?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Oh
You're
god.
correct, sir.
Like that's the thing that for me burned the bridge because like initially I had no problems when they were like Dark Souls. I was like, okay, cool. You know, you get the video game community into tabletop. Perfectly fine. Resident Evil, same thing. The moment that they took up Critical Role, my brain was rolling because I was like, okay, I get that there's a fandom. Like a huge ass fandom out there.
Yeah.
But you're putting all of your bag, like all your chips into this one bag that you're gonna sell one time. And then you're gonna push Guild Ball off to the side. It's like, we're busy. We're working on this. And I'm like, this doesn't need all that attention. Those fans can wait. You have a community that you still need to work on and like keep on developing, but they're like, no, money's over here. Let me go over here and make more money. Oh, someone else wants me over there. Let me go make more money. And I'm just like, you're not understanding. This brought you to the table.
Do you think
Guild Ball brought you to the table.
Do you guys think that maintaining Guild Ball was, from a rule standpoint, was a big deal? Like, would that
No.
be like 4 or 5 people looking at data all the time, and
Yes.
or is that like 1 or 2 developers that are
Dude,
like,
they have Longshanks. It's
Mhm.
free. It's free. Google people pay for that, dude. Companies will go out of their way to be please take a survey. Dude, you had literally percentile win rates, the best players at your fingertips. It just is so upsetting. And now I'm on their website. Epic Encounters.
I know. What is that?
We have a new game, Epic Encounters. Wait till you love the game, and then we can't supply it, and then we're gonna kill it.
You are not wrong, because my brain was like, why?
I haven't been on Steamforge Games' freaking website for like probably months, right?
Yeah.
But 7 days ago, Epic Encounters. We have a giant resin dragon. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think that was their Gen Con
God
stuff.
tier. But God forbid you play Guild Ball, we're gonna shoot it in the back alley in 7 days. Oh my god, yes. Oh, how can you do that? How can you announce a new game and then be like, yeah, we're just gonna kill this one real quick?
Mhm.
Oh god, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, talk about burning bridges for like a community that had supported you so hard, and you just want the gamers' money, not the tabletop gamers, but the video gamers' money.
I'm looking at like the art, and I'm just like, this could be in Guild Ball. Like I'm like, why did you not just put this? Why is this not in Guild Ball? Let me post this here real quick.
Why is this
mine
not in Guild Ball?
Yeah.
What did you?
Why
What
did
did you?
you make this art and it's not for Guild Ball? What, I don't understand.
What did you think? What did you make of the comments about restrictive or competitive playstyles that restricted design space? Because that was.
it was their design space. It didn't restrict anything.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, just make new rules. You don't like it, make new rules. Like, if you release something that was bad, like, either figure out a way around it or nerf it to shit. Like, there's two options. Like, I don't understand how they don't understand.
It's like you created it, fix it.
Yes, they're like, yes. We've released Corbelli. No one will surround their goal ever again. Oh yeah. Yeah. We've created one model that can counter the goal siege.
Yeah.
Ay.
Jesus.
About okay, the other thing too is the Matt and Rich, they kind of pride themselves on being like competitive video gamers as well, and they were big Riot Games fans, and they loved League, and they kind of followed that scene a little bit. Like, what do you think would take to have at that point turned Guild Ball into something that resembled more like a competitive video gaming community, or I should say an economy, more than a community. The economy around
the biggest thing that the video games have is they have matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
So like that would insanely help Guild Ball. Like, you match people against people who are the same skill as you. You have fun games every game. Like, that would be insane. But it's not like that, and we don't want that for a tabletop game. But
are there
it's just trying to replicate that is too hard.
Well, but I guess my question is, like, are there other, when you see like esports and that kind of stuff, and I don't know that that's the best example, but there's a lot of the video game itself is it's like a $60-$70 video game. That's it. But the economy around it, buying all the game accessories and going to conventions and attending these competitions and sponsorships and that kind of thing. Like, do you think if they had decided to just go, like, we're a competitive game, we're just gonna live in that identity? Like, do you have any thoughts around what they could have done to kind of push their model closer to like a competitive video gaming economy?
I think if they were really big into Riot, I think two things could have been learned from it. Like, the reason Riot makes money is from skins.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So if their issue is how do we make money, it's you make limited edition quote unquote skins or new models for guilds. Right? That's how you keep the current community like still collecting.
Yep.
Right? And as far as like the other thing that League has is, like Kevin was saying, it's accessibility, right? Everyone can go onto a computer and play the game, right? If they made like a tabletop simulator Guild Ball a long time ago and brought it to PC, then yeah, you could make matchmaking where it's like, okay, we have Longshanks implemented into our game, right? Mm-hmm. And then you play against people that's within, like, I don't know, like, you could choose the parameter, right? You could say, oh, I want to play against people with 100 ranking tonight, or something like that within my rank. Or if you want to play a really close game, oh, I want to play people with 20 ranking with it, like oh, if I'm ranked 400, I want to play at anyone who's 380 and like 4 whatever, right? So like, yeah, you could do that, and then you can also set up game scheduling. So like, oh yeah, I'm free Saturday. Like, you could type to the guy, I don't know, like Fried Rice Jones, right? Hey man, I'm free Saturday. Can you game? Like if it's accessibility is the issue,
Right.
then like you fix it by bringing it to the computer, right? And it's not difficult. Tabletop Simulator, they did it. Right?
That's a huge point too about, like, if you look at Blood Bowl, it was in the doldrums for many years and only held up by fans for a long time, and it really didn't even come back into prominence until after they made a video game out of it. And then GW was like, "Oh, by the way, we're going to take this back." Like it wasn't by itself. It was community upheld, but it never really broke any threshold to be marketable again until after the video game. You could even make that argument with 40K. Like 40K players today, they're a younger generation of kids that grew up on the video games.
Yep.
And was like,
It's true.
Man, I liked that. And so the odd thing too is, Steamforged, they partnered with Riot very early on, and instead of making a video game, they helped Riot make a board game.
Yep. I bought that board game.
And it was like, well, the assumption at that point was like, well, aren't they gonna do a Guild Ball video game? And that just never, I don't know. They just never.
I'll say I love Guild Ball, but I would never play a Guild Ball video game seriously. It's just not what I want to do.
Sure.
I have other video games for that, and
I
like wargaming, and that's what I would want to do. And I don't think you could bring skins to games like this. Like people, especially people in wargaming, they want to find the cheapest list they can possibly make and have the least amount of model. We're millennials; we don't have money, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the older folks or people with dispensable income will be more inclined to buy a reskin team, but not have any different rules than what you already own. Like, maybe I would do that for my favorite teams, but I wouldn't do that for all of them. No way.
Yeah.
Spend
But what
$80 to have the same rules.
What about
the thing is, like, they've sold out of their limited ed models like every single time, like
That's
within
true.
days, right? So it's like, if the issue is we need more money or Guild Ball's not making us more money, like they could have just sold like the limited ed stuff like every year, and then every once in a while, every quarter, every 2 quarters, you drop a new team. And
yeah,
then,
but
like,
why would I don't know? I think there's business decisions behind that. I don't think it would be profitable in the long run, but I don't know the business behind miniature making. I can't say with certainty that that wouldn't be profitable. But why wouldn't every company that has a mold for their limited edition models just make it not limited and make a ton? Like, I think there's a reason behind it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that I feel like there is something there though with the idea that Guild Ball needs a gateway for new players, and maybe a video platform would be appealing to somebody. Maybe it wouldn't be, but I do feel like that was something that never really got attention until the very end. But the attention was, let's wreck the existing game, trying to turn it into a gateway, which would have been really bad if that happened.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems so strange that they're all like, instead of supporting a project that they knew had a big community, they're epic encounters. Oh my god. I don't know. I think
it's that.
I think they just didn't handle a lot of things properly, and it just all dominoed into, let's just kill the game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since, like, they're technically no longer in charge of their own company, so it's not like they had a choice.
They did, like, everything was so promising up until like the end of season 3. Like, they were communicative, they were part of the Facebook community, they were just part of everything. I don't know, something just happened, man.
I don't know.
I have to wonder, how is God Tier even doing well?
I don't think so. I honestly don't.
I have to legitimately wonder that, because
I play God Tier just with, like, my close friends, where it's like, let's kill time. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, even then, like, okay, it sells a few units here and there, right? People put it on their shelves, but has God Tier given it's been out for a while now? Did it even register the same kind of wavelength that Guild Ball did when on its launch? And why was that like, oh, we're just gonna bank all of our shit on God Tier now? Like it's I don't understand that. And it was like, hey, you guys are you guys are pushing our products. Get that God Tier out there. Go on. I want to see more pictures of people playing God Tier.
Yeah, and then the comics too. Like, dude, I don't understand. Like, okay, guys, God Tier page on Facebook. Like, I'll round up 4,000 likes. Okay, Gubs has 5,000. That's a community page. The community Gubs is 5,500 players, right? The Guild Ball like official page is 13,000.
Damn.
Right? So God Tier is not even like, let me get the calculator out, right? was what, 5,000, like with 3,000 people, right? Or 4,000? I don't remember, right? So you've got, it's not even as big as the community page, right? So if I'm just taking it official page for official page, right? So 13. Dude, it's not even like a third.
No.
It's not even a third as popular as Guild Ball.
Man, that's just weird.
Isn't that? It does not make sense.
It's not as old as Guild Ball is, though.
No, it's not. But it just didn't splash. It didn't splash the way Guild Ball did.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, this is according to
And
the
how many
same
of those
period of time.
4,000 people? How many of those 4,000 people are just liked because they're huge fans of Guild Ball? You know
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure it's a good portion.
what I mean? Yeah.
Did you see
That was the only reason I would have bought anything from God Tiers, because I love Guild Ball so much.
I know. Yeah, I know people buy it for D&D, but they don't actually play the game. I know people are like, oh yes, I can get the new set has a Dragon Queen, 2 dragons, and like a dragon egg. They're like, perfect for my D&D campaign. It's only $30.
It's perfect for. What'd you say it's perfect for? Is epic encounters in D&D?
Oh yes, of course, dude. Epic encounters.
I'm gonna read a couple of comments here. Wow, no idea what their goal was with God Tier. It looked like nothing what they tried to show off at Gen Con early teasing. Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. God Tier, when they first, even like if you went back and watched Guerrilla Miniatures games, like when they were previewing God Tier, it's a very different game.
Yep.
What they landed on is a very different game, and it seems like, okay, like you could tell that they were kind of chasing a more casual audience. They wanted collectability and that kind of thing. But it just, I love that meme that was posted a couple of weeks ago where the guy was like, SFG doesn't make anything as good as Guild Ball. Change my mind. Yeah. Or, no, what was it? It was like, SFG only makes one good game and it's Guild Ball. Change my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad they don't make Guild Ball anymore.
So I only gave like, what you call it, the first game that they picked up a pass because Dark Souls to me was fun as a video game, and they put the same difficulty level into the tabletop game, and I was like, okay, that's fair. But like you said, Guild Ball was like the funnest thing that you could brag to anybody and say, hey, come and try out this game, it's fun. And people would naturally believe you that it's actually going to be fun. But anything else now, I'm like, snooze fest.
I mean, I will say though, like, luckily, because like everyone who plays 40K are the people that grew up on the video games, and they're all just a bunch of like young people. The 40K community now is actually pretty good. Yeah, like the game is still like like it's codex creep, but like the community is actually not bad. There's a lot of like famous like YouTubers who are like video game YouTubers that play because they're like, yeah, I played Dawn of War when I was a kid. and now they're bringing a lot of light into 40K as well. So their communities are hopping on too.
That's good.
Yeah, I would say 40K's community, like GW, is still like questionable. You know, I think
They're
that
nuts though, dude. Their models are so good.
their models
I
are.
love them.
I don't know how they do it.
Dude, just putting together their plastic feels so good. Like, I don't know if you've done that recently, Octave, but it feels really good.
I put together those Sisters of Battle.
Sisters.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, I think their fantasy range is
like
better than 40K.
I wish that was bigger than 40K for sure.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
kind of do too.
But just minus the Sigmar Marines. Like, get those out of here. I mean,
We got you, Space Marines, for your fantasy. Get that thing out of
Exactly.
here.
they're like, yes, we've made a Primaris. I mean, a Sigma Marine. That's the best. Yes, we made our 5th Primaris Lieutenant model. Well, what's the difference between the one that you made like a month ago? This one has a cape.
Duly noted.
I agree. I think the new Necrons are pretty prime. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I got the
they're good.
Indomitus box. It's I don't know. Yeah, that's me simping for 40K for a second there, but
40K.
I still have to get a game in, dude.
it's
You haven't
like
played your rubrics yet.
Not yet.
Mm.
I don't know. I can't make myself buy like the 8 books I need to even know the rules
Yeah.
to play. So
well, you can get the app now.
for reals, I need like a
everything.
chapter approved. I need a codex. I need the rule book, and I need the Psychic Awakening book, and those are each like $40.
They have that app now. Apparently, that's supposedly the gateway for new players. Is you
Yeah,
get the
I
app
don't
for
know
like
about that.
$5.
Yeah, but what if people want the damn book?
Exactly. I'm on the same page where I'm like, brother, just like,
Bruh.
yeah, exactly. Like, dude, I don't know. I agree though. Like, I don't know. I would say that I'm not sure. I think 40K is in such a weird spot.
Well, the 40K will never go away, and it will always be, at least unless there was some extinction event for miniature gamers, it will always be kind of this is the big the
entry
ticket
drug, yeah.
that's in the room,
It's safe.
right?
It's safe to play.
And all of these other games that I play they just sort of orbit around, right? And and at some point they just get kicked out. They slip out of orbit or they're done. So 40K is just a reality. That's like, that's what when people say miniature gaming, that's what they're going to be talking about. But like, what does that? I don't know. What does that mean long term for independent games? Does it mean it will always be independent games will always just be this flux where only if you were to say the Survivors, P3, Privateer, Corvus Belli, Weird. I don't know. Like, there's only a handful.
P3. Well, like Privateer Press was actually rivaling like 40K for a second there, where it was arguably for a hot second there a bigger game than 40K.
Yep.
Right, and then they just took it in the back alley and was like, "All right, Mark III," and then they just fucking blew its brains out like in the back alley. They're like, yes, we're going to become big. We're gonna drop Mark III."
Mark II's like, come on, man, I could change. It's perfectly fine. And then like, nah, I got my new squeeze, Mark III. It's like, why? Why did you do this to like a good community that all of a sudden everyone just started hating on, like, Privateer Press at a point?
You want to know what my honest opinion is? I think I think the issue is not necessarily with the games. I think it's with the companies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you had a guy like Elon Musk who's like, yes, I'm really into these tiny miniatures, and I'm going to make my own damn miniature game, and it's going to have cigars and hookahs. You just need some billionaire playboy to come into the market and just
They have
change
to be
everything.
British.
Of course. Yeah. So because he does not care about money, right? I feel like the issue is the companies caring about like making that dime.
Well,
you know?
like
I
Lord
don't blame
Draconin
them.
brings up a really important. Like he's like Catalyst Games has been around for a while, but never big as the others. There's a lot of companies like Warlord has been around forever.
Yeah.
You know, hell, like even a lot of those like historical those side manufacturers have been around forever, and they're we don't even know if they're profitable. I don't even. I just don't even know. Like those types of companies, they just gonna survive because I guess they understand who they are. To your point, Andrew, and it's like this is. Yeah, we're
They stay in their lane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, they're just like they're proud of what they do. They're proud of the community they're built. Okay. Honestly,
Is Tomahawk Games gonna go away? I don't know. I don't think so, man. Tomahawk Games makes like 2 games, but they've been around forever.
yeah. Literally, you get a billionaire playboy that wants to drop money on making a video game, drop money on making a miniatures game, an RPG game, right? Drops money on Privateer Press, the Press Gangers, right? They killed
thanks,
the
Cameron.
Press Gangers, their game became shit, right?
Yep.
Okay, like Steamforge Games, they killed the Pundit program, the game became shit, right? Like, you have a good, community building program, like Pundit or whatever, make
That was-
video games,
man,
make
that was a sore spot. Yeah,
right? And then you don't care about making money, right? The money comes from the community, just buying because they want more of your shit.
Yeah.
Right?
okay.
Like I believe the issue, honestly, one of the biggest issues is the greed. Is the fact that
Is it-
we have to make numbers, we have to do this, we have to prove to our admins that this game is worth keeping alive.
Well, okay. Well, here's the other cutoff that I'm kind of alluding to. So you have those companies. You have what I call the survivors. Weird
Yes.
Privateer, Corvus Belli, and then you have these other companies that have been around forever and ever. They know who they are, but the main I guess cutoff there is who survives on the shelf. Right. One of the things about these games that die is at some point they try to make an earnest go to try to fight GW and the incumbents to be like, oh, I get to be on the shelf too. And when they try to get on the shelf, they get their asses kicked or they start making bad decisions to try to keep a product pipeline going.
Yeah.
So does that mean that these games, it's a fluke to be one of the survivors, and ultimately, you may be just better off being like a Relic Blade. Like, I'm just gonna make the games out of my garage. I'm gonna cast my own minis, do my own art. I don't need to be on a shelf. But the funny thing there too is with Relic Blade, there actually are some local retailers that are like, no, we like you. We're gonna put you on the shelf. We don't care.
Yeah, well, I think the way to go from there is you need community builders like Press Gangers.
Yeah.
You could still be the guy in the basement or the guy in the garage, right? But you just have people or a program, as well as what is it called, open play kits or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just ship those. Getting communities grown is huge, because if you don't have your name on the shelf, you need to have your name on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, if someone's like, yes, what is Relic Blade that's happening this Saturday? Oh, it's this cool miniatures game. Oh, miniatures are only $30 for an entire team. Oh, see, those conversations aren't even happening because no one's building the community, right? The reason why, Privateer Press was actually rivaling GW, and for a hot second there was beating them out, was because of the Press Gangers. I did not know about War Mahords until a Press Ganger was like, "Hey, you wanna you want to play the game? I was like, okay. Actually, no, sorry, that's a lie. There was a guy that worked at Comic Quest. Is like, you play 40K? I'm like, yeah. He's like, have you heard of this game called War Machine? I'm like, yeah. And then they started
Have you
doing
tried this new
tournaments.
stuff?
Like it was hilarious because like it literally was 4 of my friends. I remember it to this day. 4 of my friends, we were like, I'm playing Signar, this guy's playing Kador, this guy's playing Crix, and then this other guy was playing this other thing, right? And then from that, they started doing tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, the rest is history. Like I think the first tournaments at Comic Quest a long, long time ago were because me and my friends were like, we want to play War Mahords. How do we play? And I don't remember. I think it was George. I can't remember. He doesn't work there anymore. But he was like, I know a press ganger, and then the press ganger set everything else up.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So it started
the also
with
beneficial thing they had going was it was a good game.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the fact that 4 kids can go into a comic store and can like essentially like sprout a community.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a press ganger. If the press ganger didn't exist, then it's like, well, you're shit out of luck. Play in the garage, kids. Good luck.
That's a good.
Like, unfortunately, Relic Blade does not have that. It's not that he doesn't want to have that. It's just like if we're using Relic Blade as a good example, like if he had a program that was, we want to build communities, right?
Well,
Because like think of how many people rolled up to his shop because he was like, here's a demo.
Yeah,
Right? We all were like, this game is hype. We
And he
wouldn't
had-
have known it.
he had great looking minis, and
Yeah.
and it
Just-
was. We also really liked that idea that like, hey, this is just a self-started thing that this
Mhm.
guy does, and he does it out of his garage, and I like that factor because it's like, okay, well, at least I know the person who made this is going to be engaged in their game. They enjoy playing their own game. Like when
Yep.
he did that like demo out at Kingdom Con, you could tell like he likes his own game. Like that's cool too. Just to see those guys that people that push their games. I think for him in that case, I think it's I don't know that I would label him a success in terms of monetary miniatures game, but I think he's successful because he knows like this is the space I'm going to occupy, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Mhm.
And if he did want to push it to the point where he gets to be on the shelf, then I think you're right. You got to have people on the ground that are like, hey, come play this game, come understand it. And a lot of these companies are like, oh, we just make a really good game. Like the interesting one is like what's the name of that game? Free Blades by DGS. That's an interesting.
True.
That's an interesting animal because it made it to the retail shelf.
Yep.
But it doesn't have like a huge presence around it, and it just sort of lingers there on a couple of shelves, and people are like, oh, cheap D&D minis, and they're pretty good skulls. So
You really need someone on the ground. Like, you need boots on the ground, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, a lot of people are willing to do that. You just need to give them free miniatures. Like, that's the funny thing. Is like,
pretty simple. Yeah.
like, you literally say, like, yeah, here's a limited ed model that I only give to, like, the people that grow communities. And you can, like, there you go.
Oh,
Like-
Malifaux did that, and that was pretty awesome. They had
Right? Like,
they
why
had
do you think
henchman
of that?
only minis that were cool that you could earn. And me and Jake ran so many events, like we had multiples when it was never designed for you to earn multiples. We had like, how many do you have? I have 7. How many do you have? I have 6. And the other henchmen were like, how the hell do you guys do that? Like, yeah, we just run shit all the time.
Yeah, Malifaux, baby. That's
Yeah.
how.
It is a good point though. Like those volunteer programs are they can be really beneficial because that's like I spent a lot of time in volunteer programs, and it really is a good way to get people involved, and especially when people like, oh, well, he plays at this store, he can teach me the game. I like gaming with that guy. Let's just whatever the hell he's playing, let's try it, right?
Yep.
Like that goes a long way.
I will say that there is something to be said for the guy that made Relic Blade, that if you're able to get other distributors, like the big wigs, to actually sit down, play your game, and actually buy your game, and they're having like in-office play of your personal game while they're supposed to be working on like,
Yep.
War Machine and Hordes,
Yeah.
that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Like, that goes to show you that the game's actually worth something in the long run.
Yeah, the dude at, like, I was buying some like Kador stuff or like something from 40K. Oh Jesus Christ, something for War Machine, right? And then like the guy was straight up like, "Do you want to try Mod Pack?" And I was like, "Nah." And he's like, "Well, if you do want to demo something, he's like, you should try Relic Blade out." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Okay." And I walked over to Relic Blade. That's what started it all. The guy was like, "Yeah, everyone here at Privateer Press booth has been playing that game, and it's like really awesome. It's a guy in his garage. He made the game." And I was like, I can get into that. He was like, "So are you sure you don't want to play Monpok?" I'm like, "Yes." and he's like, "Why?" He's like, I was so tempted to be like, "Because you guys did Mark III." I was so tempted to just like,
Andrew and I promised him we would go back to his booth. We never did.
yeah,
Point-
no. I was
Hey,
like,
points for honesty at least, right? He was like, "Hey, we're playing this game."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Sean sold almost all of his items by the
Yes.
time that he left Kingdom Con.
he did.
Yeah.
This is true.
Like, that's hyperly like impressive. That a person that, is just working out of his garage is able to sell every single item that he brought down.
Well, he
without
got
no problem.
he got Andrew and some of you guys, and you guys walked upstairs to the Guild Ball tournament, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
"Man, you need to go check out that Relic Blade." And we went down in groups, like, "You guys go now, you four go down and come back up, and then we will go." Like we had shifts of people. Okay, is it my turn to go get the Relic
Yeah,
Blade
See,
stuff?
that's the thing. Is like, why? Like, I think I know why he doesn't do it, right? Like, he told me, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to make a tournament kit or like an open play kit or something like that," right? And he has like the vision to do that, but I think really what he wants to do is he just wants to make models. Like, I think he told me personally when I was talking to him, he's like, "I'm an artist first and foremost, and everything else second."
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think he cares about getting boots on the ground as long as like it pays the bills and he can keep doing what he loves. Out of his garage, then he doesn't give a damn, which is fine.
Yeah.
He could be way bigger if he had like a partner program or something like that.
There's something to be said about that, though. That like he doesn't he could be bigger, but he understands where he's at. That's not to say that it won't change in a few years, because maybe eventually his game does take off to the point where it's like, "Man, I can't keep up with demand anymore. I'm gonna have," and I still want to continue to make minis. So let's bring on some guys, and their job is to do the casting, and I do the sculpting. Or let's bring on some guys, and they or get some volunteers, or get a playtest group, and I'll show them the models I want to make, and they can mock up rules for it.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, that was it. That's all I was gonna say there.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of got a good model going right now, and it's a model a lot of companies kind of are going off of, where it's like he makes good products, and then if he really feels inspired to make a new set, then he just kickstarts it. I mean, it kickstarted itself in 2 days,
Yeah.
right? And I bought it. I don't know. I got it. I was like, that's the thing is I think he's very self-aware of what he likes, and as long as it pays the bills, then he's like, all right, whatever. I'll just KS another set if I need to. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's if he plans on expanding, then he knows his business model.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Octave, where it's if he gets too big and then he needs to bring people on the payroll, then he might have to. But see, then that's the trap, right?
Right. That's the
when you're
trap.
that's the trap. I feel I don't know. Dang,
Maybe at some point
Jesus.
he decides, like, gee, I really liked making miniatures for this, but the demand has outgrown that, and I don't want to keep up with this anymore. Let me just sell my IP. Right? Maybe he just does that. No, that could be a real thing. He could just go, yeah, I've made the pieces I want to make, and I'm done with the game. But there's a community that wants to continue playing it, so let's just do that.
Yeah, it could also be like maybe he just gets to the point where it's like made to order, like Kevin was saying. Like if he can't keep up with demand, he's just like, all right, I got 100 orders I can fill a week. You guys just keep putting in your tickets, and then we'll go from there. And if the game gets too big to the point where like he has 1,000 orders a week, but he can only make 100, which like who cares? Eventually he'll meet the orders, like you just have to wait your turn. Like here's some paper doll models, brother. Go out and have fun. Like I don't know. It's only 3 models, right? Like to play the game, you only need 3 models. So I think the beauty is in the fact that you only need so few to play the game. So his own demand is satiated by the fact that you only need so few.
Right.
Like I don't know. I'm just bullshitting at this point. I've worked in the past like 4 days, probably like. I don't know, actually. Let me calculate. I've worked a lot in the past 4 days. I pulled a double, and then I pulled a double today, man. I'm bleeding. I'm out here.
And the calculator's putting in some work today, too.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Guild Ball could exist like that, like a boutique game? Let's say the rules don't change anymore, and you have a company and they make, instead of making the Guild Ball models, somebody comes up with the community comes up with the rules for the last 4 guilds, and there's just a sculptor in his garage. It's like, I'm just gonna make these teams, and they kickstart it because it doesn't belong to anybody. So he could just.
I think it could survive. I think that's what they've been doing for the past year. Like, I think, I mean, obviously don't go radio silence and be like, yes, more God tier comics. All right. Okay, honestly, like, let me go to the Steamforge site real quick to just display how much they didn't give a shit about their own game.
Oh, Lord.
Do I need to share the screen here on the Discord?
Hold up. All right, so... like, I'm going to blog, right? Like, that's where, okay, all right. So before they announced anything about Guild Ball, right? I'm going to start back from May. Right? Okay, Guild Ball field test by Matt Hart. All right, that's May 1st. Right? May 20th, organized play. And then they made a statement about the movement in June 11. Then June 18, they said tabletop sim. And then from there, it all just went to shit. God tier Tomic number 10, introducing Kara, the Dragon Princess. Introducing Kara to your warband. Kara on the Tabletopopedia. Play with Kara on Tabletopopedia. Gen Con 2020. Cannibal Adventures, God tier and more. And then we're killing Guild Ball. It was basically like 2 full straight months of just like, how many God tier things can we like? There's
and it's only one warband. They're just plugging the same warband.
There's 2 comics about Kara, right? Then there's 4 things about Kara. How to play. Kara, the new Slayer champion. Introduction. How to include her in your warband. On the Tabletopopedia. Play on Tabletopopedia. Hello? Why is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 articles about one captain that you added to freaking whatever God tier, right? Like... whenever, like, what was it, like, Corker released? Oh, yes, 1 article, alright, good. We have satiated the hunger. Right, okay, let's look at April, right? April 6th, Resident Evil, God tier, Resident Evil, more Resident Evil, God tier. Brother, I don't see, from April, like, they posted one thing about Guild Ball.
Mm-hmm.
They honestly made the decision to kill Guild Ball probably around March.
I
Probably.
believe so.
Probably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they probably just didn't post a lot. I mean, they didn't post a lot before it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is like you can tell they were not. They were
I
not.
still
like,
thought they were going to finish their game, though. I still thought
Same.
it was
Too.
the end. Like, I knew it was coming to an end. Like, everyone saw the signs, but
Yeah.
I was still in denial. Like, I still thought they were going to finish.
Yeah.
I still
Just
thought,
like
I thought
a
we
nice
were
thing
going to
with-
at least get a like one complete season
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they teased the fluff for the season 5. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, that's a thing they're doing. Like they're gonna do season 5.
Yeah, I remember before COVID hit, me and Aaron, like, we were in the like CQ, right?
Mm.
And we just looked at each other and we're like, Guild Ball's gonna fucking die, huh? We just straight up, like, we had that moment where we're like, yeah. So, do you think it's gonna be like official, or do you think they're just gonna let it bleed out? And we were like, I don't know, man. Like,
It's
me
so
and
sad.
Ed straight up, like, looked at each other and we're like, yeah, the game's gonna just gonna int. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's like, oh man, big sad.
May I say that your hype wizard is most impeccable?
Oh.
It's a sad day. Sad day for
It
me.
is.
Game.
It's a
It's a
sad
low point
day.
in my wargaming life.
Oh no,
Ugh.
you're not joining us for Batman either. At least
don't
not for
join
now.
that either, brother.
I don't think so.
Can't
I
do
don't know.
things.
I looked up some videos. I saw some games, and I don't know. I don't know if it's for me. Especially now, I need to fill a void, and I don't think Batman's that.
No, Malifaux.
Maybe.
Maybe
If we
Malifaux.
get- if we get fast enough, it could be. But
Yeah.
if it's just like my brain is fried after every game I play, then maybe not.
We're gonna have to put in some reps for Malifaux for sure. Just to see if it's. I think it can be fun, but I have the same concern. It's like I can see myself wanting to play Malifaux, maybe twice a month, maybe even
Yeah.
more. But like, if you sat me down and you're like, you're gonna play 3 games in a row in a tournament, I'm like,
Oh Jesus
I
Christ!
I might run out into traffic. You don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That tournament we had where we had 3 games in a day, I was done.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
burned.
Like
And that was 35 points, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were playing 35 points. We were not.
Yeah.
Whew.
like
I don't have
play-
the bandwidth for that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like it's just too much. It's too thick.
It's so weird too that like Guild Ball is a fairly rigorous mental exercise too, but for whatever reason, it's not like
I think it's you have one team, one scenario. Like
Yeah.
like it's
Exactly.
not
yeah.
that much strain. It's like the flipping cards, the constant math, the like even if it's like little math, and then
Mhm.
needing to pay attention to your suits, and then like after you do something, realize oh I didn't do this last activation, crap, and then it's just so much. Every model has 10 rolls. Like
Yep.
it's a lot.
Why does my 4-point model have like 20 different things it can do?
And I'm not hating on the game either. It's a good
No,
game. It's a good
I
system.
enjoy it. Yeah.
It's just
It's too
It's a
thick.
lot.
It's too thick.
It is.
I think Guild Ball just spoiled me, man. It's just so simple.
It,
I
yeah.
feel like Guild Ball like
6
lets
players
you
each. Oh,
it lets you in my opinion it lets you concentrate on the important things. That's
Yeah.
how I looked at it. It's like there's critical thinking involved and timely thinking. You have to think pretty quick, and you have to and you're trying to figure out your opponent's plan and that kind of thing. But it really let you just, because the core mechanics were so sharp, you didn't have to other than the occasional shit, I forgot about unpredictable movement. That's about it.
yeah.
Or there's a counter charge, I gotta look out for that. Other than that, for the most part, you're just asking the other guy, oh, what's his armor? Oh shit. Oh, what do you have on your second result? Oh crap. Like that's it. There wasn't you're not guessing what warrior they have. You're not worried about did they did they buy this upgrade? Did they include this? It just seemed like whatever you in Guild Ball, like you both players are very aware of the situation, and it's just a matter of who's going to be able to make the better decisions in a in a timely manner, really.
Mhm.
Yep.
Let's see. Cameron says, compared to 1.5 Malifaux, where we could play all day until the store owner would tell us to get out. Yeah, it's weird, Cameron. You bring up a really good point, because when we played Malifaux 1.5, the game was not any less complex. In fact, you could argue it was more complex than version 3. But I don't know. I can't put my finger on what is so draining about version 3 compared to 1.5.
If we learn it, if we sit down, we play 50 games, it'll play like Guild Ball does now.
I agree.
Like that's just getting through this slog is like, hurting my brain. And then if only like 3 or 4 of us get on board to do that, and the other 3 or 4 come out for events and their brains are hurting at events while ours aren't, it's not fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like we have to like slow grow everybody together.
Yeah.
In order for
Which
it to
would be
work.
fun, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that could be fun.
Slow grows are cool.
So, what's everyone's like now replacement game for Guild Ball?
I don't know, dude.
Oh,
I gotta find
40K, unfortunately.
40K?
And D&D. 40K and D&D have soothed all my miniature wounds.
Alright.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be 40K for me too. Like I told Octave, we're pregnant, so we have a kid on the way in January.
I
Yeah.
know, it's so
shit.
awesome.
So
Let's do that.
I need to find a game where I could just like, hey guys, I'm showing up, I'm playing this game, and
Mhm.
there's 40 people willing to play a game with me. That's 40K.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, D&D fills the, like, yes, I need cool lore void, and then 40K just fills the, I just want to put miniatures on the board and throw shit at people. I mean, like, the issue is, like, the 40K community has gotten so much better that it's kind of hard to argue. Like, I mean, is it a good game? Like, no. Like, I will agree with you. It's like, it's not Guild Ball, but, like, it'll do. Like,
But that's the difference, right? You could play pretty much anything as long as there's a cool community involved,
exactly.
right? And an active community too. You can have a cool community, but they never show up. So
Yeah, like, I hate to say it, but, like, I kind of knew Guild Ball's death was coming, so I was already looking actively for a replacement.
yeah,
Oh, this didn't really shock me as much as, like, I guess I wish it did, but I just feel bad for the people. Like, this is their game. Like, this is their only game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is what got them into miniatures gaming. And they don't know where to go from here. They're just like, well, shit, my hobby's fucked. Like, I don't know where to paint. You know?
yeah.
What do I paint now? Marines.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me right now, it's going to be either Batman or Marvel Crisis Protocol.
I've heard Marvel's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel's that's a pretty casual game from what I'm told.
Yeah. I need
and-
casual in my life.
And there's people, and they're, we ran into some MCP players over at Comic Quest, so I don't think it would take much for somebody to just pick up the mantle and go, hey, we're gonna throw an MCP event. You probably get a dozen people showing up for that, just because on the IP alone and the fact that it's a more casual game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Batman and Marvel, but like playing a Hunters vs Hunters game in Guild Ball is nowhere near as upsetting to me as playing Batman vs Batman. Like it just
Yeah.
like that is honestly my main gripe. Like if I played Marvel and I have Spider-Man on my team and I'm playing against Spider-Man, I'm thrown for a loop. Like that just doesn't work. Whereas like Guild Ball, I don't know why, but playing Theron against Theron doesn't really bother me as much as Spider-Man against Spider-Man. Like it blows my mind.
I think we've been fairly lucky so far with
Yes,
with
we have
Batman,
on Batman
because we haven't had even when we played I think the other day I was playing like League of Shadows versus League of Shadows, but I was running like Movie Bane versus Talia. So we didn't run into. I see what you're saying though, Kevin. Like if I was playing, if I was playing Batman and somebody else is like, oh, I'm also playing Batman. I don't think I would enjoy that.
Like if I played a Mirror and Malifaux, I'd be pissed. Like,
yeah,
not
yeah.
fun.
True, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think like the only thing that I'll say, like at least with like the Batman universe, at least now you have like all these different versions of Batman. So
Yeah.
you're having like regular comic book Batman versus movie Batman, or Flashpoint Batman, where you're not getting the same Batman. You're getting like, oh, I'm willing to kill somebody versus like, I'm just here to handcuff people and give people citations.
Mm-hmm. What I really like about Batman is that it does actually scratch a lot of the like Malifaux type itch without what you were talking about earlier, without like all of the drain of the duels and triggers and that kind of stuff. It does feel kind of like Malifaux, and it's a lot faster. So it does hit me, in a lot of places that I want to get out of the miniature game. But like you're saying, I still love Malifaux, but you really gotta limit exposure on that for now, at least.
Oh yeah.
From an official standpoint, like what because it's something Comic Quest is always asking me, like, okay, what do you want to run? They're like, that's like the best, probably the silver lining in this, right? Is because I told them today, like, what happened, like Guild Ball's dead officially, and they were like, well, that sucks because we just we're going to restock our products already. It's
Rip.
ready to put on the shelf, right?
Oh God!
And then but then they asked, like, what does what do your players want to do? What do you want to do? And I said, well, I mean, I don't think this is going to be a permanent thing, but there's still games to be played, so we can do that if you want, or there's still Malifaux, there's still Paint Day. Like, frankly, it doesn't matter what they want us to continue to play games there. It really doesn't matter what we end up playing, but it's just fun to have that, and the support of our store is a big deal too. Just to be able to, we're going to switch systems because this reason.
Like, I know, like, me personally, like, when I got into Guild Ball Season 1, I think this was, like, the first game where I said to myself, honestly, I wouldn't mind collecting all these teams, even if this thing dies. Because that way I'm able to have all the teams. Friends want to come over, and they're like, hey, I know that you played this one game. How's it play? I could give them whatever team that they wanted to play, and we would just have, fun game. Like, that was like my whole basis behind it. Like, I didn't feel as, oh god, I can't keep up with like the miniature line. Case in point, almost like Batman, because they kill off crews left and right if you're not careful. Well, Guild Ball was like, from the beginning that was out, we're not getting rid of any crews, we're just adding. So it's just like, I think for me, like, I will continue to buy Guild Ball game type stuff, but that's like, because I'm supporting the store at this point now. It isn't really in order to put money in their pockets. It's more of, hey, Comic Quest, you've held this mantle for so long. I'm still going to support you by buying, or I don't own the mechanics. I don't own the Butcher's team. So it's like, I have teams I still want to buy.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just use them for D&D.
Yeah.
That's my excuse. 20 damn years, that's been my excuse. This looks cool. D&D.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I think I would be, I kind of, I'm looking for, if I can't get the, the kind of intense the intense experience you get from a game of Guild Ball, then
Mhm.
I don't know. I'd probably replace it with like 3 or 4 different games.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be like, let's throw an Arstea tournament. Why? Because you could pick up that game after months of not looking at it and still play it. It's still pretty much that game. You either like it or you don't. And then we could throw a Malifaux tournament. I don't know.
Yeah.
We throw a
That's a-
demo day. I don't know. Something like that. We put something like that together once in a while.
I'm still kind of confused by like Riot Quest and Sky Tier right now, because since
I still want to
Arstea
get a
is
game of
around.
Warcry too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Warcry is a really fun, just another kind of just throw down casual
Easy game, yeah.
Yeah, it's like just enjoy it for what it is. And, I keep telling people like if Warcry ever comes out with a faction that I like aesthetically, I'll play Warcry.
You see those
That's
new
fine.
LV things that they just came out with?
I'm gonna have to look at them.
I
Maybe
think
if
it's GW just came out with them. I don't know if they have a Warcry crew for it yet, but they just came out with a new range, so I imagine.
Yeah, they'll probably
will
get a
be.
Warcry crew at some
Yeah.
point. And then there's Blood Bowl, which is
No, never.
that's
I'm not
that's
going into
interesting.
it.
No.
Really?
Ever.
Oh, I'm an old Blood Bowl player back in the
No,
day.
I'll play Guild
And-
Ball instead of that.
I was thinking about. I was like, if there's a team that I like the look of, I'll put together a team, and then I'll see who's out there. Maybe nobody's out there.
I mean, like for me, if it gets
good night,
dropped
Cameron.
into my lap, I'll play it.
Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
It really does require you. It's having a good league is a hard requirement. If your league sucks, you're gonna hate Blood Bowl. Like worst game ever. But if you have a good league, it can be very entertaining.
Mm.
Let's see. Chris says waiting on Warcaster. The game seemed interesting.
Oh, that's true.
Um,
I could play that.
I'd have to
Is that
again.
the-
I'm reserved on
P3?
PP.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm reserved on PP, but I could play that maybe.
Oh no. Oh Jesus Christ, dude.
Good rules are good rules, dude. I don't care who makes them.
I know, but I guess
If,
for
if
me,
it's good, then I'll play it.
I guess for me, I'm looking at it from the standpoint that the OG people that started Privateer Press aren't there anymore. So now I'm like slightly worried of like what the results are going to be, because the OG people went to Atomic Mass Games.
I mean, Mark II's still the second best game I've ever played. So
Oh, it is
Yeah.
by far.
Mark II is so good. I
I'm
knew
not
when
going
they-
to write it off completely, but I'm not going to go in like with my blinders on. I'm still reserved about PP, but
Yeah.
I'll see what the rules are.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to tell you no, don't do it. It's like you would just have to be the person that tells us, is it good? Is it bad?
It's bad. No, that's what Cody's for. Cody buys everything.
Yeah.
If it's truly a skirmish sci-fi game, then I think it's got some ground to it.
Yeah.
Like if they keep it under like 10, 15 models, then I think it might have some weight. And I agree with Kevin. I think like we don't know until it's out, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do have my reservations about PP, where it's kind of like, yeah, didn't they release what was that Iron Company? What was that shit game?
Yeah.
No, what was that? Everyone was like, "It's good. I swear, guys, it's good. I swear, you're just being salty." And then, yes, where is it now, Privateer Press?
In the toilet.
Honestly, straight up, next time I go to a convention, the guy's like, would you like to try a game? And if I know it's for a fact dog crap, I'm gonna be like, no.
You can't fool me,
You
sir.
can't fool me. These are not the droids you are looking for.
I don't know, like for right now, I'm still looking for like the cyberpunk aesthetic for a tabletop game.
very true. Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm wishing for.
there is a Judge Dredd miniatures game, but it's not very good.
Ugh,
It's pretty
no,
pretty boring.
The models are bad.
Yeah, the kits are pretty bad. Okay. So follow up question. No, realistically, like how many more Guild Ball tournaments or events would you be interested in attending? And I'm just asking. I'm asking that from like a very because like I said, I still have OP kits. Comic Quest still, they're still very interested in us having the events. But is there a number when? What do you?
I think
depressed.
my number is the amount of people that go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd just be too depressed, dude. Like, just knowing that, like, I don't know.
I don't know. There's already people within the community and on Discord talking about how they're gonna take up the mantle.
Yeah.
I'll look back at that in a year and see where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But I don't think I'm gonna be involved in. As much as I love the game, I don't think I'm gonna be involved in trying to get it back up.
Well, I guess what I'm asking in terms of like in short term, we all still have our teams. We all still have. We're still invested in the game for now. Like how do you think we just run a couple events here till the end of the year and then that's it? Or
I mean that could work, or
because I do see probably one or two more events at least, and then but towards the end of the year that's probably it.
Honestly, the events are just a chance to hang out with you guys and play games. So
Exactly.
I'm down for whatever. If you throw events and I'm available, I'm obviously going to be there. So
Okay.
That's my stance. And again, if anyone ever wants a game of Guild Ball, I'm probably down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still, it's just right now. It's still very fresh and convenient, and
Yeah.
like let's just break it out. Let's play one. That's cool.
Pour one out for your homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be sad though. Every game I play will just be
Exactly. That's why I'm like
a dagger in the heart.
And you're like, oh,
I feel
well,
like I'll
that
kick
was
off.
fun.
I'll be like, oh no.
I got a question for you guys. I got some models on eBay from Forge World, and they're obviously recast because they're like 30% retail from Forge World. Should I feel bad about that?
No. No, absolutely not.
I think it's only because it's GW I don't feel bad, but now that I have like these super expensive models I've paid like a fraction of the price for, I'm kind of feeling a little bad. But
is it the Russian retailer? 'Cause
Probably.
I know- yeah. Because honestly, like the people in my community, like my circle of 40K friends, they do that, and literally like they show up to tournaments and league games, and like
dude,
no one says
honestly,
shit. They're like, okay,
better quality than Forge.
Actually.
Clean up. Yeah.
yeah, no, like
What's
they
happening
literally
right
like.
now? Oh yeah.
They're like, is it painted? Cool. Like, it's basically like
No one can tell.
they don't care. Yeah.
It's
Like,
impossible
should
to
you
tell.
feel bad about it? No, like
Yeah.
absolutely not. Because you still got to buy the 4 books.
Damn, screw those books, dude. I don't know if I want to.
Hey, just pirate. I mean, don't pirate them. Do not pirate them. But there might be. Don't do that on the internet.
Or maybe.
But I will send you a link after.
Yes.
I think I don't know. One of my friends has some sort of PDF file of sorts. Not for Games Workshop. Some other workshop of sorts.
Oh,
I don't
gotcha.
know.
Do they have games at those
Yes.
workshops?
I think so, dude. Yeah.
Workshops. Top quality. But yeah, I would say don't feel bad about it. I mean, I'm painting my friend's like Death Guard right now, and he gave me like, instead of a demon prince, a demon princess that comes from like a different company.
I've seen
And
those.
it looks like a moth type character with like her guts hanging out. I'm like, this looks way cooler than what you're probably gonna get.
Dude, I will say my army's almost completely painted and it's looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So
Nice.
that's one thing 40K gets you doing.
That's a
Feeling
pretty.
good about
That's
your-
a pretty.
your
Yeah,
painted
it's a pretty
stuff.
satisfying thing to be able to
Yeah.
field your army fully painted like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's up, Dicey. Hey, all right. So I think we are nearing the end here, guys. Of,
Oh. Sad.
of our vigil. Of our
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. There's
Call it a visual.
there's still a lot of yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few months because it sounds like we're going to be shopping for games, but the plan is we're still going to throw the odd Guild Ball event here and there, get people together and throw the dice around and give out a coin or two, that kind of thing. But that's where we're at.
And I have to start saying it's hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Dude, Kingdom Come was so fun. I want to
Yeah.
play a game that has local cons that we could all go to and play and have fun. Like
That's another giant issue. There isn't a local con anymore. What do we do now?
Like, that
we
was
just have
the
to go to
downfall.
Vegas. We need something that gets played at Vegas, and then we all take a road trip.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do want to go to LVO. They do. What would probably happen is we'll go to LVO. We'll sign up for, probably whatever games we're playing, and then on the side we'll be like, "Hey, let's play some Guild Ball or something."
Yeah.
Like, because I could see myself going to LVO and playing in, I don't know, this game. I don't think I would play in the Malifaux stuff unless it was like maybe Henchman Hardcore. But I could play this or I don't know, Aristea. I don't know.
I could see
It would be
myself playing
funny.
like some Mangled Metal War Machine events.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It'd be hilarious if we go to the Steam Forge and we play God tier and then we're like, we whip out the Guild Ball models. Wait a minute.
God, can you imagine how salty the next God tier, the booth that they set up, and there's going to be packs of Guild Ball players that sit down. Oh, what a great replacement for Guild Ball. Good choice, guys. Like, they're
Sign me
gonna
up.
sit there.
Dude, sign me up. When's the next event? That's what I'm gonna do.
Be like, yeah.
You do this.
The only thing that would make this better is if it had Dungeons and Doggos in it. It'd be great. I don't
Lord
miss
have
Guild
mercy.
Ball at all, guys. What a good call. We
Lord.
feel bad for this.
Dude.
Uh,
Hey, whoever's working the booth that day is gonna get some serious shit.
Oh, man.
yeah. I don't know if they're gonna just cry on the inside or just be like, man.
Who knows when
What
the next
happened?
in-person booth's gonna be, though, dude.
Yeah.
It's true.
You just have to be dead behind the eyes. This is it, guys. God tier. It's gonna replace. It'll fill all your Guild Ball needs. You'll see. You'll all see.
It feels like Guild Ball.
It's like, where's the ball? Oh, there's no ball anymore. Oh, where's the pitch? There's no pitch anymore. Why am I measuring with hexagons and not with a module? Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I remember the good old days of Guild Ball and not this.
They just need some young intern that has no idea what's going on.
Like,
Oh, we have Dungeons and Doggos. What about Guild Ball? What's Guild Ball? I swear to God, there's gonna be a riot. Someone's gonna break a 40 on the ground and just be like, "Where's Tappa?" He's like, "Tappa, what?" Guy's gonna get misted.
the poor kid's gonna be like, what did you do to this company? It's like, what are you talking about? It's like a bunch of guys just told me about Guild Ball, and now I feel like I'm working for the wrong company.
They're like, "You sweet summer child."
Sit down by us and have a Weathers original. We'll tell you about Guild Ball.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. It's gonna be a lot of that for the next 3 LVOs.
Oh, Jesus.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
All right, guys. Well, we're at 11:30. I gotta get up in 5 hours. Been
Shoot.
fun, everybody.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed
Good
too.
Guild
I'm
Ball,
running
dude.
on fumes.
Gonna
Yeah.
go to bed and cry.
Yeah. Pouring out for the Tappa.
Yep.
One last sip of Old Jake's. I don't know.
Oh,
Feels sad, man.
it's sad,
Classic
dude.
shark. Why didn't you come back to me?
Oh,
8-inch net.
oh my god. You cannot move. It's like, you move, Yugi. Oh wait, that's right. You can't. Oh my god. It seems like you are caught in a net.
Oh god, man.
Oh god. Oh no.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Later, guys.
Night.
Good one. Thanks everyone for watching. Good night, everybody.